Heard a lot about this show, the ExCandidates.
This has been a pretty thorough interview.
These institutions which we've been told to respect and trust are actually completely untrustworthy.
Have you confirmed that you are negative before attending tonight if you are unvaccinated?
I still see people with masks on and driving, and they're in the car by themselves.
So you can pay my electricity bill, you thing, little spiff.
We're teaching them about what it means to be a pansexual instead of teaching them how to do your taxes.
It's no for me. I say no to the voice.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the ExCandidates. My name is Stephen Tripp, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend Adam Zara. How are you today, Adam?
Oh, I'm very good, thanks, Stephen. How you going, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. And on tonight's episode, we have Katherine Deves, who's an Australian lawyer and also the co-founder of Save Women's Sport Australia. And most notably, in last year's federal election, she was the Liberal candidate for the high-profile seat of Warringah. She's also a contributor to Sky News and the Spectator Australia. How are you tonight, Katherine?
Really good. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for coming on. And we're gonna talk tonight to you about this issue that you've always been involved in, or you've been involved for a very long time. It's protecting women and girls in sport, and especially with this rise of transgender athletes. And I mean, I want to preface this whole interview by saying, if someone chooses to be transgender, we're definitely not against them. I've heard you say that in previous interviews, but it's kind of one of those things with anything, especially from the left side of politics. They'll take that little thing that most people will agree with or accept, and then they'll just push it way too far. So with that said, how did you get involved in all of this and advocating for women and girls in sport?
So I have three little girls, and when they were born, I thought I better go brush up on my feminism. And I went and had a look, and I saw the state that it was in. So with respect to liberal feminism, where they push, porn and prostitution, it's all about women making a choice, and because a woman made a choice, therefore it's feminist and it's empowering. And I thought, well, what a mess this has turned into. And then I realised that there were women who refer to themselves as radical feminists who were highlighting that there's a real push for men who want to pretend to be women, who call themselves a transgender or having a female gender identity, and then intruding into women's spaces, and in particular sports. And I saw that the Australian Human Rights Commission, in conjunction with the Sport Australia, had put forward some guidelines where they were erasing the category of sex in sport, which would effectively, gender identity was coming in as the category for sports competition, and there really wasn't a concerted pushback. And I thought, I think this is maybe the moment to stand up and say something, which I did, and I connected with some women in New Zealand who were already running Save Women's Sports New Zealand. They hadn't implemented guidelines to the extent that Australia had, but they were watching what was happening here. And as it turns out, they went completely woke, and now categories based on gender identity. But we started this little group for a social media presence, and also to lobby politicians and bureaucrats to say that this is a problem. And fortunately, we have a real heroine in Senator Claire Chandler from Tasmania, a young Liberal senator. So she drafted up a bill called Save Women's Sports that was going to clarify maintaining that sex distinction in sports categories. But unfortunately, the Liberals are in opposition at the moment, so that has just been put to the side for now.
And we want to bring it up quickly, this case that you're working on at the moment, Tickle versus Giggle. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I am a practicing lawyer, and there is a case that is being brought in the federal court at the moment, and it is called, incredibly, Tickle versus Giggle. So Tickle is a biological male whose name is Roxanne Tickle, and my friend Sal Grover, who runs Giggle, which is an online social media platform for girls. Now, and that is based on you being a biological female. So Tickle wanted to get onto the platform, and he managed to get through the onboarding AI selfie. However, Sal noticed that this person was there, and she went and had a look at their onboarding selfie, saw a biological male, and removed him from the platform. So he tried to take her to the Australian Human Rights Commission with that conversion therapy, you've got to be on an affirmation pathway. You can't even be neutral. You have to positively affirm. And as we know, there are real concerns around the medical and hormonal and surgical pathways. So, that was a big issue in the federal campaign. And Stephen, equally with you, it was always nice to see you out there on the hustings, and we were definitely up against it with all those, we called them the Zalanistas. It was difficult going, but I did have some wonderful moments. I had a lot of fun. I got to meet great people. I got to meet you, Stephen, and people from all different walks of life, all different opinions. That's the part I really enjoyed, being able to just talk to people, and they'd tell you the most extraordinary stories about their life and things that they needed help with. And it was a real privilege and an honour to be able to run as a candidate. And I will always be grateful for that opportunity, for that experience. Yeah, it was actually, it was difficult at times, as we saw, but I wouldn't change it. I don't regret it. And I'm really glad I did it.
And I got really jealous that you got to have coffee with John Howard as well. So, but how can people follow you going forward, and if they want to see what you're up to?
So I do have accounts on Twitter, and that's mainly where I live on social media, also Facebook and Instagram. And I do have a website, which is just katherinedeves.com. So you can subscribe there. And I keep intending to write a newsletter, but just with the children and working, and I just haven't been able to get to it. But please subscribe, because that is on my to-do list. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how you do it with 3 kids. I've got 1, and that's my wife does a lot of it, but it's just it's very commendable.
I have a wonderful, wonderful partner, my tradie partner, who is very dedicated to the girls and to me, and who, tradies, they start early and they finish earlier in the afternoon. So we just make it work, but I definitely could not do it without his support.
All right, Katherine. Well, thank you very much for coming on. Some people out there might not agree with you, but they've got to admire your conviction. I think conviction is what we need a lot more in Australian politics. So we definitely commend you for that. Adam, thank you very much as always as well. And for everyone out there, if you've enjoyed this episode, or if you agree with anything that was being said, even if you disagree, please share it out there.
Let us know.
Let us know in the comments as well. And, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, and final thing, please look up Tickle v Giggle. And Thank you so much for your time, gentlemen, this evening. I really appreciate it.
Yes, we'll put up the link for the Tickle v Giggle as well. So if people want to donate to that, as you said, even small amounts, $10, $20, it all helps.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of the evening.
All right, see you later.
Good night.